I'm sitting in my father's church office, the same office where I used to do homework as a kid, watching him cry for the first time in my life. My wife, Jennifer, 41 years old, is in the chair next to me, her mascara running down her face in black streaks, hands shaking so badly she can barely hold her phone. My father, Pastor Daniel Matthews, 68 years old, senior pastor of Grace Community Church for 37 years, the man who baptized over 2,000 people, won't even look at me. But the worst part? The part that made me throw up in the church bathroom 20 minutes ago, heaving over that white porcelain toilet while I could hear the choir practicing Amazing Grace down the hall, was when my oldest son, Caleb James Matthews, 16 years old, honor student, star of the soccer team, the kid who still asks me to pray with him before big games, walked through that door and said, "Mom called me. She told me to come here." "Tell me it's not true, Dad. Tell me you're not one of them." Let me tell you how the son of the most respected evangelical pastor in suburban Atlanta, a married father of 3 kids, a worship leader who's played guitar in church for 25 years and never questioned his sexuality in 43 years of life, fell in love with a man. And how confessing it to my father in this office destroyed not just my family, but shook an entire congregation of 800 faithful members in less than 72 hours. My name is Jonathan David Matthews. I'm 43 years old. I've been married to Jennifer Ann Matthews for 20 years and 2 months. We have 3 children, Caleb, 16, Emma, 13, and Noah, 9. I work as a senior financial advisor at Bradley & Associates in Buckhead, Atlanta. I've led worship at my father's church every Sunday for the past 18 years. I coach Noah's Little League team. I've voted Republican in every election since I turned 18. I drive a Nissan Pathfinder. I mow my lawn every Saturday morning. I was everything a pastor's son should be, the golden child, the perfect example. And I've been lying about who I am for every single one of my 43 years on this earth. I grew up in Marietta, Georgia, in a beautiful 4-bedroom colonial house 3 blocks from Grace Community Church. My father became senior pastor when I was 6 years old. My mother, Patricia Matthews, now 66, has been the church pianist for 40 years. My younger sister, Rebecca, now 39, is married to the youth pastor. Our family was church royalty. Everyone knew the Matthews family. We were in the church directory with a full-page photo. When people thought of Grace Community Church, they thought of us. I was always the good kid. I had to be. When your father preaches to 800 people every Sunday about living righteously, when church members watch your every move, when you're literally the pastor's son, you learn early there's no room for mistakes, no room for being different. I remember being 10 years old and having a nightmare about disappointing my father. He sat on my bed and said, "Son, you represent our family. You represent this church. You represent Christ himself. Everything you do matters." I was 10 years old, and I learned that night that my job wasn't to be a kid. My job was to be perfect. I went to Marietta High School, honor roll every semester, played basketball, dated a girl named Ashley Miller from our church youth group because that's what guys did. She was pretty, blonde, from a good family. I felt absolutely nothing when I kissed her. No spark, no desire, but I told myself that was normal, that good Christian boys didn't lust. I convinced myself my lack of attraction was spiritual maturity. The truth? I just didn't want her. But my teammate Brandon? I'd watch him in the locker room and feel something I couldn't name. Something that made my heart race. Something that made me immediately pray, "God, please take these thoughts away. Please make me normal." I went to Liberty University because that's where good Christian boys went. Majored in business. Joined a Christian fraternity. Led Bible studies. Never partied. Never drank. And I never let myself think about why I noticed certain guys. My roommate Marcus. The worship leader David, who played guitar and made my chest ache. I'd quickly pray away any thought the moment I recognized it. I told myself I was admiring them, looking up to them. I never once let myself think the word attracted. I met Jennifer at a Christian conference. She was 23, beautiful, from a good Baptist family. She loved Jesus, wanted kids, wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She was everything I was supposed to want. We dated 8 months. I proposed. We got married at my father's church. October 19th, 1999. I was 24. 250 people attended. It was perfect. Our wedding night was awkward. We were both virgins. The sex was mechanical. I told myself passion would grow with time. It never did. But our marriage was good. Jennifer was my best friend. We laughed together. We wanted the same things: a nice house, good kids, stable life. We bought a house in Roswell with a big backyard. Jennifer got pregnant 6 months after we married. Caleb was born when I was 25. Emma came 2 years later. Noah 5 years after that. I loved being a dad. I coached soccer, helped with homework, read bedtime stories, taught them to pray. Our sex life was consistent, Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings. I'd focus on her pleasure, finish quickly, feel relieved when it was over. I never desired her the way I thought I should, never craved her. But I told myself that was maturity. Real love was comfortable, predictable, safe. I got a job at a financial planning firm in Buckhead, worked my way up, made 6 figures by 35. Jennifer stayed home with the kids. We had date nights twice a month. Family vacations to Destin Beach every summer. We were at church every service. I led worship starting when I was 25. It was the only time I felt truly free. I could close my eyes and sing and forget about everything else. People looked up to us. The perfect pastor's family, the son who did everything right. And I was dying inside. I never let myself notice men, but I did notice them. The moment I'd feel that flutter, I'd shut it down. Pray it away. Quote scripture. Rebuke the thoughts. Those thoughts weren't real. They were temptation. Spiritual warfare. That's what I told myself for 43 years. Then I met Andrew Mitchell. It was March of last year, 2023. Our firm hired a new financial advisor, Andrew Mitchell, 35 years old, just moved from Charlotte. Single, smart, easy to talk to. He had dark hair, green eyes, an easy smile. He wore fitted suits. He was confident but didn't take himself too seriously. Clients loved him. We got assigned to work together, started having lunch meetings. Those turned into just lunches, then coffee breaks, then staying late talking about everything. I told myself we were just friends. That's what guys did. But I started looking forward to seeing him more than anything else in my week. I'd notice what he wore, feel my heart race when his name popped up on my phone. I told myself it was just friendship. Then came the night everything changed. It was a Thursday in June 15th. Our firm was hosting a networking event, open bar. Jennifer stayed home with the kids. I wasn't planning to drink much, but I was nervous. The senior partner was announcing promotions. I thought I might get one. Andrew kept bringing me drinks. Relax, man. You're gonna get it. I didn't get the promotion. I was crushed, made excuses about needing to leave. Andrew followed me to the parking deck. You okay? I looked at him under the fluorescent lights and something in me broke. I thought I had it. I've been working toward this for 3 years. I know, it's bullshit. You deserved it. I need to get home. You've been drinking. You shouldn't drive. I'll drive you. I should have said no, but I said yes. We got in his BMW that smelled like leather and expensive cologne. He played music I'd never heard, The National. We drove in silence through Atlanta at night, city lights blurring past. Then he pulled into a Waffle House parking lot off I-75. I know you're upset about the promotion, he said. You want to talk about it? We went inside. The place was nearly empty. Just us, a tired waitress, and a guy at the counter. We sat in a corner booth, ordered coffee, black for both of us. And I talked. I talked about feeling stuck, about working so hard for so long and never getting ahead, about trying to be perfect all the time and still not being good enough, about the pressure of being the pastor's son, the worship leader, the good husband, the good father, about feeling like I was performing a role instead of living a life. I didn't talk about the real thing, the thing I'd been pushing down for months, for 43 years. But he looked at me across that Waffle House booth at 1 a.m, fluorescent lights harsh and honest, and he said, Jonathan, can I ask you something? Yeah. Are you happy? Like, really happy? I should have said yes. Should have laughed it off. Should have quoted some Bible verse about joy in Christ. But I looked at him, really looked at him, and I said, I don't think I've ever been happy. Not really. Not once in my entire life. Not even when your kids were born. I felt relieved, proud, but happy? No. It was just another thing I was supposed to feel. His hand was on the table between us. I was looking at his hand. Long fingers. No ring. And then, I don't even know who moved first, but my hand was on top of his hand, and every single nerve in my body was on fire like I'd been shocked, and I felt more alive in those 5 seconds than I'd felt in 20 years of marriage. I pulled back like I'd been burned. I need to go, I said, standing up so fast I almost knocked over my coffee. I need to go home right now. He drove me back to my car, didn't say anything, didn't have to. We both knew what had just happened, what had just been acknowledged between us. I got out, drove home in a daze, walked into my house at 2 a.m. Jennifer was asleep. The kids were asleep. Everything looked exactly the same. But I went into the bathroom, locked the door, and threw up. Because I knew. I knew I was in love with him. I knew I'd never felt anything even close to that for Jennifer. Not once. Not on our wedding night. Not when our kids were born. Not ever. I knew every single thought I'd had about men my entire life wasn't temptation or spiritual warfare. I knew I was gay, and I had absolutely no idea what to do with that knowledge. I avoided Andrew for 2 weeks after the Waffle House. Called in sick 3 days, took vacation days, worked from home. He texted every day. Are you okay? Can we talk? I didn't respond. He called. I let it go to voicemail. But I couldn't stop thinking about him, about that moment, about his hand, about feeling more alive in 5 seconds than in 42 years of performing. Jennifer noticed something was wrong. Are you okay? You seem different. Distant. Just work stress, the promotion thing. I'm fine. You don't seem fine. I threw myself into church, led worship every service, volunteered for everything, prayer meetings, men's breakfast, prayed constantly, begged God to fix me, to make me normal. But I couldn't pray away the truth. Finally, Andrew cornered me at work, waited by my car in the parking garage. Jonathan, what did I do? Did I make you uncomfortable? No, it's not you. Then what? We were friends. Now you won't even look at me. I can't be around you. I can't be your friend. Why not? He knew why. I could see it in his eyes. I'm married. I have 3 kids. My father is a pastor. I lead worship. I can't be what you think I am. Jonathan, I'm not asking you to be anything. I'm just asking you to be honest with yourself about what you want, who you are. I am being honest. Are you? Because you look like someone who's been lying to himself for a very long time. I got in my car and drove away. Had to pull over 3 blocks later because I was crying so hard I couldn't see. When I got home, I initiated sex with Jennifer for the first time in months. Thought maybe I could force myself to feel something, to want her, to be normal. But I couldn't. I went through the motions, faked everything. Afterward, lying in the dark next to her, I knew I couldn't keep doing this. I couldn't keep lying. But I had no idea how to tell the truth without destroying everything. If you're listening to this and some part of my story is touching your heart, I left something in the pinned comment that might help you. You're not alone in this. I started seeing a therapist in July, told Jennifer it was for work stress, career counseling. Found Dr. Richard Chen online, 52 years old. Practice in Decatur, far enough from our church that nobody would know. Far enough that I felt safe. I sat in his office the first session and couldn't speak. Just sat there for 45 minutes looking at his diplomas on the wall, the comfortable chairs, the box of tissues on the side table. He waited patiently. Take your time, he said. There's no rush. Second session, I talked about work. About the promotion I didn't get. about feeling stuck in my career, about providing for my family. Third session, I talked about my father, about growing up as the pastor's son, about the pressure, the expectations, the performance. He listened, took notes, asked gentle questions. Fourth session, late August, I finally said it. I think I'm gay. Saying it out loud to another human being felt like jumping off a cliff, like free falling, like dying and being born at the same time. He didn't react with shock, didn't lean back, didn't look surprised, just nodded calmly. How long have you known? I don't know. Forever? Never? I've known and not known my whole life. Tell me about it. So I did. Everything poured out. Ashley in high school, college roommates, the guys I'd noticed and immediately prayed away, my wedding night, 20 years of mechanical sex with Jennifer, Andrew, the Waffle House, the hand-holding, the knowing. We spent 6 months working through it, every Thursday at 5 p.m., then twice a week. The denial, the religious trauma, the internalized homophobia, the shame I'd carried since I was 10 years old. You've built your entire identity on being what other people need you to be, Dr. Chen said one session in October. The perfect son, the perfect husband, the perfect father, the perfect worship leader. But who are you when you're not performing? I don't know. That's the work we need to do, finding out who Jonathan actually is underneath all those roles. In November, he said it. You need to tell your wife. She deserves to know the truth. I can't. It'll destroy her. She'll lose everything. The kids will be devastated. My father will disown me. The church will... Jonathan, you're already destroying all of them by living this lie. The truth will hurt, badly. But the lie is killing everyone slowly, including you. What if I just keep it to myself, stay married, raise my kids, never act on it? How's that working for you? It's not. Then you have your answer. Andrew and I started talking again in October. Carefully, he'd text, "How are you?" I'd wait hours before responding. Fine. Then we'd meet for coffee. Just as friends, we told ourselves. We'd sit in corner booths at Starbucks far from our office, talk about work, about life, about everything except the obvious thing between us that we both knew was there. But the tension was always there. The awareness. The way he'd look at me when he thought I wasn't watching. The way I'd notice everything about him. What he was wearing. How he smiled when he talked about his weekend. The sound of his laugh. The way we'd sit just a little too close in the coffee shop booth, our knees almost touching under the table. One night in November 9th, a Thursday, we were working late on a client presentation. Everyone else had gone home hours ago. It was just us in the conference room on the 14th floor, city lights spread out below us through the floor-to-ceiling windows. We were sitting side by side at the long table, looking at his laptop, going over quarterly projections. Our shoulders were touching. I could smell his cologne, something woodsy and clean. My heart was pounding so hard I thought he could hear it. Thought the whole building could hear it. He turned to look at me. Our faces were maybe 6 inches apart. "Jonathan," he said softly. "Don't," I whispered. "Don't what?" "You know what. Don't say it. Don't ask me, don't. Do you want me to stop? To leave you alone? Because I will. If that's what you need, I'll transfer to another office. I'll make this easier for you." I should have said yes. Should have told him to transfer. Should have stood up and left. Should have maintained the boundary I'd been desperately trying to hold. But I kissed him instead. I leaned in and kissed him and the whole world stopped. Everything I'd been running from my whole life crashed into me at once. This was what desire felt like. This was what wanting someone felt like. This was what I'd been missing for 43 years. It lasted maybe 5 seconds before I pulled away, panicked, shaking. "I'm sorry," I said, standing up so fast my chair fell backward. "I'm so sorry, I can't do this. I have to go." I grabbed my jacket and ran, literally ran out of the office. Down 14 flights of stairs because I couldn't wait for the elevator, out to my car. Drove home going way too fast on the highway. Went straight to the guest bedroom and locked the door. Jennifer knocked. Jonathan, what's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine, just exhausted. Big presentation tomorrow. Need to sleep. But it's only 8:30. Did something happen? Please, Jennifer. I just need to sleep. I didn't sleep. I lay there all night in that guest room bed, fully clothed, my heart racing, my mind spinning, staring at the ceiling, because I just crossed a line I could never uncross. I just kissed a man. I just admitted the truth with my actions, even if I couldn't admit it with words yet, and I knew I had to tell her. I couldn't keep doing this to her, to him, to myself, to my kids who deserved better than a father living a lie. 2 weeks later, on a Sunday night after the kids went to bed, I told Jennifer we needed to talk. We sat on the couch in our living room. The same couch where we'd watched movies together for 15 years. What's going on? She asked. You've been acting weird for months, distant, like you're a million miles away. My hands were shaking. I couldn't look at her. Jennifer, I need to tell you something, and it's going to hurt you. I'm so sorry. Her face went pale. Are you having an affair? I kissed someone, once, 2 weeks ago. Who is she? And that's when I started crying. It's not a she, Jennifer. The silence was deafening. What? I'm gay. I know I'm gay. I've been fighting it my whole life, but I can't anymore. I can't keep lying to you. She stood up, backed away from me. You're gay. Yes. You kissed a man. Yes. Who? Andrew, from work. Andrew, the guy you've been having lunch with for months, so you've been having an affair while I'm home raising your children. It was one kiss. I swear. I stopped it. I told him I couldn't. She was crying now, angry crying. How long have you known? I think I've always known, but I didn't let myself know. I thought I could be normal. I thought I could make it work. So you've been lying to me for 20 years. I was lying to myself too. That doesn't make it better. That makes it worse. I've wasted 20 years of my life. It wasn't a waste. We have 3 beautiful children. A life based on a lie. She was screaming now. Do you love me? Have you ever loved me? Yes, just not romantically, not the way you deserve. Get out. Jennifer, get out of this house right now. I packed a bag, drove to a Hampton Inn, lay in bed staring at the ceiling while my whole life fell apart. Jennifer called her parents that night, called my sister. By morning, half the church knew something was wrong with the Matthews marriage. My father called me at 7 a.m. What's going on? Rebecca said Jennifer called her crying. What did you do? Dad, I need to talk to you, in person, at your office. Come now. I drove to the church, walked into my father's office. The same office where he'd counseled hundreds of members, where he'd prayed with me before college, where he'd given me advice on my wedding day. What did you do to Jennifer? I couldn't look at him. Dad, I told her something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. What? I'm gay, Dad. He stared at me. What did you just say? I'm gay. I've known for a while. I tried to fight it, but I can't anymore. No, you're not. You're married. You have children. You're confused. The enemy is attacking you. It's not the enemy, Dad. It's who I am. I've tried to pray it away for 43 years. You had an affair. I kissed someone. Once. A man from work. My father's face went red. How dare you? How dare you bring this shame on our family, on this church? Do you have any idea what this will do? I've built this church for 37 years and you're going to destroy it because you decided to give in to sin? It's not a sin, Dad. It's who I am. Don't you dare tell me that God made you this way. God doesn't make mistakes. Maybe you're wrong about this. He stood up. Get out of my office. Dad, you are choosing this lifestyle over your family, over your children, over God. And if you choose this, you choose to walk away from everything. Your marriage, your children, your church, your relationship with me. So you're choosing theology over your son? I'm choosing God's word over sin. That's when the door opened. Jennifer walked in with Caleb. My son looked at me with betrayal in his eyes and asked, "Is it true, Dad? Mom said you're gay? Is it true?" I had to tell my 16-year-old son that yes, I'm gay. Watch his face crumble. Watch him call me a liar. Watch him say he hated me. Watch him run out crying. I had to sit there while Jennifer told my father she was filing for divorce. Watch them discuss my children like I wasn't there. I had to sit while my father called an emergency elders meeting, told me I was being removed from all ministry positions, strongly suggested I find another church. The next days were a blur of pain. I had to drive home and tell Emma and Noah. Watch Emma, 13 years old, cry and ask why I'd lied to them their whole lives. Watch Noah, 9 years old, ask if Daddy still loved him, if this meant I didn't love Mommy anymore, if this was somehow his fault. I had to pack my stuff. Move everything into a one-bedroom apartment in Sandy Springs. Set up a new life in 600 square feet. I had to explain to my kids why they couldn't come stay with me yet. Set up a visitation schedule like I was a threat. Every other weekend. Wednesday dinners. I had to watch my phone blow up, hundreds of messages, some supportive, "We love you. You're so brave," but most weren't, disappointed in you. Praying God changes your heart. You're going to hell. Think of your children. I had to block my own aunt, my uncle, cousins I grew up with. I had to sit in a lawyer's office while Jennifer's divorce attorney outlined her demands. Full custody, the house, alimony, substantial child support. She wanted everything, and legally she'd probably get it. I had to watch my father preach a sermon about sexual immorality the following Sunday. He didn't mention me by name. He didn't have to. 800 people knew exactly who he was talking about. Everyone was staring at my empty spot in the worship band. I had to quit my job because working with Andrew became impossible. The tension, the gossip, clients requesting to be reassigned. I started over at a new firm across town. I lost everything in 3 months. My marriage, my home, my church, my position as worship leader, my reputation, my income, my oldest son, half my family, most of my friends. But 3 months after that, something happened. My father called me. It was February, late at night. I almost didn't answer. "Jonathan." His voice was different, broken. "Dad, can we talk? In person?" We met at a Starbucks in Marietta. Neutral territory. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. "I've been praying," he said, "every single day since you told me, asking God to change you, to fix this." "Dad, let me finish. I've been praying for God to change you. And then your mother sat me down and said I needed to stop praying for God to change you and start praying for God to change me. She made me join a group, parents of LGBTQ kids. I stared at him. "You what?" "Your mother said we were losing you. That she'd rather have a gay son than a dead son. That suicide rates for rejected kids are through the roof." And when she put it like that, his voice broke. I realized I was choosing my theology over my son. I was choosing being right over loving you. "Dad, I don't understand. I was wrong about a lot of things. I still believe what I believe about Scripture. That's not going to change overnight. But I believe more that God gave me a son, a wonderful son. And I've spent 6 months pushing that son away, and I can't do it anymore." I started crying, right there in Starbucks. "I'm still gay, Dad. That's not going to change." "I know, and I'm still going to struggle with it. But you're still my son, and I love you. And I'm sorry for everything I said, for choosing the church over you, for not protecting you." We sat there crying together for an hour, talking for the first time maybe ever. My father can't publicly support me. His church wouldn't accept it. He'd lose his position. But privately we're rebuilding, slowly, carefully. He calls me every week. We have lunch sometimes. It's not perfect, but it's something. Jennifer and I are divorced. The papers were finalized in June. We co-parent. It's civil now. She's actually dating someone, a guy from her office. He seems nice. She seems happy. Happier than I ever saw her with me. Caleb still won't talk to me. He's 17 now. I'm hoping that changes when he gets older, when he has some distance and perspective. Emma comes to my apartment every other weekend. We're rebuilding. She asks questions. I answer them honestly. She's struggling, but she's trying. Noah stays with me most weekends now. He's 10. He doesn't fully understand, but he doesn't care. He just wants his dad. We play video games, go to Braves games. He still asks me to pray with him before bed. I'm dating Andrew. We've been together officially for 8 months now. We took it slow. He's patient, kind. He understands the mess of my life. He knows I'm still figuring out who I am. He waits while I navigate co-parenting and church trauma and coming out at 43. I found a new church, an affirming one in Midtown Atlanta. It's different, smaller, more diverse. They know my story. They let me be myself. I'm even leading worship again, singing in a place where I don't have to hide. I lost my marriage of 20 years. I lost my position as worship leader. I lost most of my church friends. I lost my relationship with my oldest son, at least for now. I lost the house. I lost the life I built for 20 years. I lost the respect of half my family. But I gained something too. Something I'd never had. I gained myself. The real me. Not the version I was performing for everyone else. Not the good pastor's son who never made mistakes. Not the perfect husband with the fake smile. Not the worship leader singing songs about freedom while living in a prison. Just Jonathan, 43 years old, gay, flawed, honest, trying, healing, free. Was it worth it? People ask me that all the time. Church people who hear my story. Was destroying your family worth being gay? Here's my answer. I didn't destroy my family by coming out. I was destroying my family by staying closeted. Jennifer deserves a husband who actually desires her, who wants her, who thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world. My kids deserve a father who's authentic, who's honest, who can model what it means to live with integrity, even when it costs you everything. The destruction happened the day I married someone I didn't love the way she deserved to be loved. The coming out was just the truth, finally catching up to 20 years of carefully constructed lies. If you're watching this and you see yourself in my story, if you're living a lie right now because you're terrified of what the truth will cost, if you're married to someone you love as a friend, but not as a partner, if you're the good kid who's been performing your whole life, the pastor's kid or the worship leader or the perfect parent who's dying inside, I want to tell you something, and I need you to really hear this. It's never too late to be honest. It's never too late to be yourself. It's never too late to choose authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, freedom over the safety of living a lie. Will it cost you? Yes. God, yes. It'll probably cost you everything you've built. Your marriage might end. Your reputation will take a hit. You might lose your position at work or in your community. People you love might reject you. Your family might turn their backs. You might lose friends you've had for decades. Your church might ask you to leave. Your parents might choose their theology over their relationship with you. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy. I'm not going to tell you that everyone will understand and accept you with open arms. Some people won't. Some people will never speak to you again. Some relationships won't survive the truth. But living a lie costs you more. So much more. It costs you your soul, your peace, your integrity, your self-respect, your chance at real love, your chance at real intimacy, your chance at real life, your mental health, your physical health. And for some people, tragically, it costs them their actual life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I can't tell you when to come out or how to do it or what the right path is for your specific situation. Every story is different. Every family is different. Every person's timeline is different. But I will tell you this, and I know this with every fiber of my being. I've lived both lives now. The lie and the truth, the closet and the freedom, the performance and the authenticity, the fear and the courage. And I'll take the truth every single time, even if it costs everything, especially if it costs everything, because the only life you have to live is yours, not your father's, not your church's, not your community's expectations, not what people think you should be, yours. And you deserve to live it as yourself, as who you really are, Not who you were taught to be, not who people want you to be, but who you actually are, deep down, when all the performance falls away. With honesty, with courage, with integrity, with love, with authenticity, with freedom. Your story matters. Your truth matters. You matter. You are not broken. You are not sick. You are not an abomination. You are not a mistake. You are not less than. You are not wrong. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. And there are people out there who will love you for exactly who you are. There are communities that will accept you. There are churches that will celebrate you. There are families you can build, whether biological or chosen, who will support you. It gets better. Not immediately, not magically, but it does get better. And you are not alone. You have never been alone, and you will never be alone. There are millions of us. Millions of people who have walked this path before you, who understand what you're going through, who know the fear and the shame and the pain and the eventual freedom. We're here. We're waiting. We're ready to welcome you home to yourself. Whenever you're ready. There's no timeline, no pressure, no judgment, just truth and love and hope. And the promise that on the other side of the fear, there's a life waiting for you that's more beautiful than anything you've imagined. A life where you don't have to hide. A life where you can breathe. A life where you can love and be loved for exactly who you are. That life is waiting for you, whenever you're ready to claim it.